As usual, I come home, I do some updates, and everything's fricked up on my PC. I just had to reboot my PC. That's what the delay was all about, guys. So without any further ado, let's get into today's news topics. Yo! What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, Crypto Nation and mining family? I'm finally back home. Yo! What's up, everybody? What's going on, Crypto Nico dropping in with the F. Hey, what up, mining Huddle with the aloha? Man, that's the coolest word in the world, man. Aloha. I always say this, man, a lot, because like when I've been out down to the Big Island before, I was like really young. Oh snaps! Now somebody's gonna come by right when I start this up. Figures. People don't realize I have a schedule. Same schedule I always have. Sorry about that, guys. So what's going on? I am back at home, as you see here. I'm trying to since I had to reboot my computer, guys, I'm trying to really quickly pull up everything that I did have opened originally, because I updated drivers for my graphics card because it was kind of artifacting a little bit, so I updated the driver a little bit and it's working better. But then the way that my hard drive was interacting with everything was a little upset. So I just restarted it and everything seems to be working really smooth alright now. So I am happy with that. So I'm now just trying to pull up all the little stupid shit that I had going on. So it's like if you guys had missed it, let's just kind of dive right on into a lot of this stuff. So if you guys had missed it, last week, I have been in the facility. So I've been doing a lot of tours, a lot of walk-arounds. It's like, I love traveling, but settling back in at home takes a day. It takes a day for sure. Yeah, I don't know if you caught my little short from earlier, so I'm like looking at my rigs going, man, why is this fucker actually being hot all of a sudden? This GPU is copper modded. So I look at it and fucking 2 out of 3 fans are stopped on a 3090. It's still hashing. Not bad. So I took one of my fans from for a radiator for a PC and stuck that up on there. Got a hold. I contacted EVGA going, hey, look, the GPU's fine. I just need fans. Can you send me some fans? This thing's under warranty still. I just want fans. That's all I want. I don't need to send this back to you so that on something that I can do myself. If they won't do that for me, then I will. I did also set up an authorized repair person for EVGA, so that I can sit there and basically order up specific parts for specific devices, and if it's warrantied out, I can play with their, your specific warranty on a card. If it's an EVGA, I'll have to look in to see if like Gigabyte and all the rest of that, Gigabyte, MSI, if they have a professional, the pro side versus retail side. Because the pro side is where I would be sitting at with being able to repair devices. Hey, I've got a damaged wire, or I need this capacitor here, I need this resistor over here. You know what I'm saying? So I might be able to get these parts direct. It looks like I should be able to get them from EVGA now for what I'm going to need. It looks like EVGA is pretty cool about things. But yeah, I mean, like, so getting back here, check that out. So I've got a fan that's dead on there, and then my EVGA 3090 Kingpin, that is my hybrid, which is part water blocked and then part air cooled. So it's got an AIO pump on there. The air cooled fan is starting to get the little bit of the wobbles. So I'm gonna have to get a hold. I'm thinking I got to get a hold of Kingpin. No, it'd still be EVGA still. So I'll just have to get a hold of them, see if they will get me fans for it too. And so I can address that. And then that rig is perfect. It is nice and happy. I know I've got another. For the Win 3, a couple of them from at the facility that has one, or at least one of them I know for sure has got a dead fan on it. I'll have to have Mikkel take a look at the which ones have dead fans on that, and then get me. Yo, what up, Mikkel? Talking about the 90 class GPUs. So for the, I know I've got to get a hold of. Octominer, and to get a replacement riserless board. So that's on my to-do list. Next time you're at the facility, I need to know how many of the 3090s in my server case have dead fans on them, and the ones that have dead fans, I need a pic of the tag that's on the back of there, so that I can play with the RMA, get fans ordered up under RMA, and go from there. And then the S9, I need you to go, and the next time you're at the facility, we need to play with that one a little bit. It is unhappy and non-responsive to me. I've tried to reboot this thing, and it is very much unhappy. So yeah, just a couple little things, minor things. I think I know where I want to set the clocks at on the S9 with the power limits, and it should be perfectly fine after that. 3 GPUs. Tomorrow is in the house day. No problem. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we just need to get all that information, and I can sit there and get everything ordered up on there. When A770. When I just need to know when industrial rate kicks in, and then I might have some crypto to play with and grab some stuff for the facility. So yeah. So yep. So it was a lot of fun. Me and Mikkel, we got a couple of What's Miner M30 pluses up and rolling, and both of them were ballers. Each one of them was like the highest freaking hash rate, and the last one we hooked up is also the coolest one. It's like running super cool. It's like windbreaker panels. I don't know. What happened to the one that you saw in the marketplace? When panel? I want that one. Ah, too funny. Too funny. So yeah, we organized. I'm fourth in line. Oh, too funny. So yeah, we organized some of the stuff in the facility. So the very first part of the facility that you guys had originally seen, we had 2 switch boxes in there. We pulled new wires in, wired in some of Mikkel's equipment, rewired up my equipment in there, removed that switch. That switch is now in the ASIC room of the facility, where I've now got one ASIC rolling on there. Set up another fuse with another outlet on the system, so now that I've got another PDU to play with, and that's where I've got the S9 for the basically the facility hash rate giveaway. Every month we will do a giveaway of free hash power, guys. We figured out a pool that we can pretty much guarantee that you'll get your full payout. So we'll make sure that everybody gets, you know, a chance here to be able to do this. So once a month. So mine and Hodl is the first one to do this. And after that, after next month, we will pick another one out, guys. So definitely be here for all of that good stuff. We were able, me and Mikkel, move the rack around, set up heights of the racks a little bit more reasonable for what we're looking at, realizing that we're going to need to grab some more bars, which that's perfectly fine. That's the least of my concerns. Next we'll be looking, once the facility is no longer bleeding me dry of money, I'll be able to do some of the next steps in the power upgrades. And then with the power upgrades, that's where we start grabbing some of you guys to come into the facility. So again, we'll be opening up our doors to those who are in the Patreon first. So either you're in the DCA Adventure Patreon in the DCA You're Mining, or you are in my Patreon, links down below, where you can sit there and get into the pseudo hasher tier, and you get VIP access with some other perks. I'm just saying, guys, you might want to join it. I'm just saying. Shameless shill. I know. I'm horrible. So facility's got over 3,000 square feet in there. And it's like we've got over 100 GPUs already rolling in the facility, plus a bunch of GPUs. We've got more GPUs than total built rigs, which that's kind of funny. Not all the ASICs are rolling yet because we need more power. And I wanted to make sure that my man Mikkel could get some of his stuff into the facility too. Get some of his stuff rolling on there. I'm just trying to guarantee that I'm going to hit my load average for this month. I want to hit the load average. That is my only concern right now. That's after I hit the load average and my bills start coming down to earth, I can take a deep breath and then start the next phase of build out on the facility, where we'll be basically walling stuff up, getting the insulation board up, getting holes cut into the wall, getting fans in there. Maybe might not. We'll get fans in there for the most part, but I'm gonna have to see how I really want to do this. I'm gonna be thinking about this, the cooling situation on there, as we sit there and start walling stuff off. We might not even really need fans. So that's what I'm going to play at first. Is I'm just going to open up intake and exhaust on there with no extra fans, and then just kind of play with it, see how the airflow hits. I would like to do it with just the server fans that are currently on there. When I understand, it should work. Then all I have to do is just get louvered vents onto this, onto the facility itself, and oh my god, life will be so much easier from here. And that'll save us a whole lot of money too if we're not worrying about having to put in cooling fans. And if I'm going to do cooling fans, of course, I'm pulling it in all on the exhaust side, because I would rather have play with the Venturi effect. You actually get a few extra degrees less in temperature by pulling everything into a vacuum. So the better your vacuum, the better the airflow, better the cooling performance. I'll sit there and argue this one with anybody that sets up facilities, because I've seen people sit there and put the fans on the intake side and blowing in, and I'll sit there and show you how bad the airflow is in that. It's like I would rather almost see stagnated areas of pockets versus the air not being directed right through the rigs properly. Some people would want that cavitation in their facility. I would rather have smooth airflow. I'm an engine builder. The smoother the air flows through a building, through an engine, the better, the more efficiency you start gaining. Whenever you go to a wind tunnels do not push air through typically. They do have some that will, but a vast majority of them will do it on a suction side, because then they can sit there and control the airflow around an object. It's better for science. If anybody's into that kind of stuff. So let's see here. Like I said, I had to reboot my computer, so now I am all discombobulated here. All super discombobulated. Those are those that I had up. Let's see here. I know I had. Let's see here. Yep, that was that was not it. That was definitely not it. But yeah, they've got. I know in the EU they are now selling miners as house heaters, because using the electricity is going to be less than using the gas, because the EU has been infiltrated by the green movement people, unfortunately, and this is going to cost the citizens dearly, at the expense of, you know, the ultra wealthy sitting there in their lavish jets, you know. Got to tell everybody else, tell the plebs not to use the gas, because then it would make your gas cost too much, and God forbid that should ever happen. It's kind of nuts in how what they're doing over there, but the strike back on there that they are now marketing home miners as yes, I'd like to go to that. Sitting there and packaging home miners as heaters. Fucking, it's like heat your house and earn money. I've been talking about that since I started doing crypto, guys. Since I started here. I've been heating up my house. I mean, shit, I'm getting heat from it right now. Okay? I'm getting plenty of heat from it. So, yeah, and it's like it's actually kind of funny to me that that a lot of these places are now just starting to catch up to what all of us already knew. You know, it's like you're going to be using power to heat your place up. You might as well be making money with it. Period. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're making, let's say, 10 cents a day, right? Don't care. That means it's not costing you any money to heat your place up. And at the end of the day, if you are worried about how are you going to sit there and heat your place up for the winter time, it makes the most sense to sit there and make a small investment to get basically a home heater, because for every watt you use, you're going to be basically producing 3.41 BTUs of heat. 3.41, 3.42 BTUs of heat. I forget exactly where it's at. But it's like, so the more wattage you can utilize, the warmer your house is going to be. Think of it this way. For a bedroom, 100 watts will heat up a bedroom to about 75 degrees. 200 watts will do 2 rooms, so on and so forth. So if you could put in a 5 to 600 watt mining rig into your house, or even 1,000 watt mining rig, now you can sit there and set it up into a central spot in your house and just have a little fan to circulate around. Yo, what up, Sonia? What up, Cortobadel? Dropping in with the FA. That is for sure, guys. Definitely drop those FAs in the Chizity chat, guys. Drop them FAs. Because all of you guys are rated F. For fucking awesome. Yo! But yeah, I mean, we all, if you're wondering, it's like, hey, is that even profitable if you're going to be using it as a home miner? Well, think of it this way. If you were paying, let's say, 75 cents per therm, right? So it's going to cost you $75 a day to heat your house, let's say, right? And that's using gas. Let's say one miner, let's say 1,000 watt miner is going to cost you $50 to run a day. I'm just throwing arbitrary numbers out, okay? So now if you think about it, even if all, even if it's not making you money here, let's say the mining side for $50, you're making $50, it's heating your house. You're not making any money with that, right? And you're like, is that worth it? If you look at just the one singular event, no, it's not. But if you look at the two events together, you're eliminating a $70 bill and you're not paying for a $50 bill, right? You just saved yourself $70. But the mining itself did not actually generate that. It generated it because you were no longer spending $70 to heat your house. So, yes, the mining wise, it's no longer costing you any money. I would rather be breaking even and eliminating a whole bill. So from the standpoint of, hey, I need to heat my house, this is a totally viable situation. And they're actually marketing this with the jazz miners and all the mini miners, because you can sit there and deploy them very easily in a room. Like I said, 100 watts will heat a room up. So if you could sit there and put a couple of mini doges into each room, all on Wi-Fi, so you're not running all these cables, you're just plugging them into an available outlet. They're running 230 watts. You can put one in each room of your house. Bro, your heating bill is only that of the mini doge. And if mini doges are cheaper to run than your electric bill, then it's a win-win, right? So people are basically going to be sitting here and running down and looking at it from this point. Kyle Rosa, 16 kilowatts equals 20 HP or 909.9 BTUs a minute. Yo, that facts right there, facts. I mean, you're not going to cook an egg with it, but bro, that's still heating your room. That means your room is not going to be freezing. And hell, man, you can if you get one of the special editions, a lot of them come with RGB, so you get a little RGB light show in your room too. Woo. Man, I've been drinking a whole lot of water. And like I'm like needing to flush out what all that delicious root beer that I was drinking over at Mikkel's place while I was staying over there. Now I'm trying to flush that out. Back onto my normal my normal eating habits. I'm no longer on. I'm out and about eating habits. But the last day, man, we went over to a Korean barbecue factory. Very cool place. You cooked your own food right there. Good meats and everything. So, oh yeah, man. The other day, like 2 days ago, man, that Korean barbecue factory was amazing. If you guys have never experienced it, you have to. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, it's like mining might be in the dumps right now, but people in the right situation, even if I was mining and I was doing it for heat and I was mining at a loss, right? Let's say it's costing me $12 to mine, $12 to mine a month, right? And I'm using it for heat. So I'm spending $12 and I'm eliminating, a $75 heating bill or $100 heating bill, depending on your place. It's like, I love Korean barbecue. Nice. So, but yeah, I mean, like having the little heaters in your place, if you're spending less than your old electric bill or your old heating bill, to me it's a freaking win. If I was doing it for that purpose alone, I might grab a couple of more mini doges or something like that, just put in all the rooms instead of running heaters. Might as well have heaters that make you money. I'm just saying. And they're super quiet. 230 watts will do just fine. I think I want to channel my heat into a grow tent and dry clothes. So you would need to have like something. You would need to have at least 1,000 watts worth of heat. I think it would take 1,000 watts worth of heat to dry some clothes. But man, that would be like the driest of the dry, dude. That'd be like so dry, like it would almost make your clothes feel like they were starched. That would totally make your clothes feel like they were completely starched. They're like, there's absolutely no moisture anywhere in the fibers of the clothes. I mean, if you're not careful, you could be sitting there with a bunch of miners in your room and be sitting at 20% humidity, wondering why is it every time I touch something I zap myself? Yep. And if you guys are using miners for heat during the wintertime, guys, and you're effectively heating your house, you're going to need humidifiers. The miners are going to dry out the heat, the moisture out of the air, which is going to make it harder for the miners to keep the air warm overall. So I ended up let me tell you, running 75 GPUs and one ASIC in this house. I was going through 3 to 4 gallons worth of water every day, just to try to keep the house at like 25% humidity. Yo, Funwiser, he's like, yo, zapping reminds you you're alive. I zap myself because I question life. Oh yeah, static kills. Static kills. 100%, guys. So, yeah, I mean, even though there's like a lot of, it's like dust growing out through ASICs can cause static discharge, can damage DMG. Yes, yes. That's why you need to have a certain level of humidity in the room. If you start pegging down in the 20s, yeah, you start making this like super fine deionized fucking dust, and this dust is like will stick to anything. It just has really good static electricity that'll just like a fucking magnet, dude, to any surface it comes near. And if that particular dust particle with a few of its friends gets onto a GPU PCB or an ASIC board, bad news bear. It's like, I got new glasses today. I see you now. Ouch. Oh, don't look at me, I'm hideous. Crypto and hot rods, better said. Yeah, exactly. It's like people don't realize how that the dust like deionizes, and it like just it has electromagnetism on there. It's got it is statically charged, and it wants to discharge to any surface it touches. But it takes a cluster of them to be highly charged like that. But it does happen, guys. It does happen. And what helps eliminate that is either running a deionizer in the room with the miner, which then you're running extra electricity without any moisture being added into the room, or you do it the other way, which is you just literally run a humidifier. The humidifier will help deionize the room, and it'll break that static bond because there is less static electricity being built up just in the charge of the room itself. I mean, forget about, like, let's say you didn't build up any static charge against the carpet. You hit a certain moisture level in your house, and just walking, the wind going around the hairs on your arm, your clothing, your hair on your head, will start building up a static discharge on the surface of your body. And then you're like having to touch metal objects, a frame, before you even touch your rig. I have gone through all the trials and tribulations over this. It's easier to do this in the summertime, because the summertime usually has a higher moisture content, but I go into the wintertime, and when it snows out, there's no fucking moisture out in the air. All the moisture is frozen. So I have to run, if I'm going to use heat from my miners, I have to run humidifiers. And last year I was lucky to see 30% humidity at any point in time during the wintertime. It took rigs being off for me to see higher humidity. I'm just saying. It's like I made a video about grounding. Nice. Yeah, I know, electrons are a double-edged sword. Yep. He's like, name one other tuber that has dropped this knowledge. Yeah. I don't know too many people that really talk about this being an issue. We're going into wintertime. So if you are in a colder climate, this is an issue that me and you, we deal with this shit. It's like ludicrous farming. Yes, at 65, there is little moisture in the air, but plenty of static electricity. Yes, exactly, ludicrous. Exactly. And I've been sitting here like I'm about ready to pull out my humidifier again because, like, man, I've been getting dry skin a lot, and that usually tells me that my moisture in my house is low. And also, one other thing that people don't think about, here's another kicker. It's like, yes, there's a lot of static electricity, but if you can keep your house around 40% humidity during the wintertime, it also helps it helps get the sicknesses out of the air. So if the flu virus is in the air or something like that, it'll actually help weigh that down, get that out of the air, so you're not breathing that in. So it's improving air quality. That's basically the gist of it, improving air quality. And then the second edge is, with it around 40% humidity, the room will feel warm. So the moisture in the air actually helps transfer heat. So if you are using your miners for home heat, you want a higher humidity count so that you don't feel cold. It is basically the biggest gist of it too. It's like current indoor humidity is 25% here. Oh, you need to get that up, bro. I'm about to start running my humidifier. It sounds like ludicrous. You need to do the same thing. But the optimum humidity is right around that 40 to 45% humidity. Is right where is that, like, that sweet spot. You start going above that, you start feeling sticky. And it's like, if you're uncomfortable in the room, so is the rigs. If you're generating static electricity, so is your rigs. So I mean, it's like, but right around that 40 to 45% humidity is that Goldilocks zone. Pick me in the line, keep the humidity up. Yo, that's a whole different reason though. No, just kidding. Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing that here soon too, because I'm sure I'm probably like right around that 20-25% humidity too, considering that the air temperature has been right around that. I want to say probably it's been hanging out like 35 to 45 degrees here where I'm at. So it is super dry in the house. It's like 63% here. AC and dehumidifier on overtime. Yeah, I bet, bro. I bet. And the problem with the electronics and the higher humidity, although the rigs will run just fine. GPU rigs will run fine. ASICs will run fine. The problem that I started developing, that I noticed by running in a higher humidity environment, is a lot of surfaces start to get rusty. So connectors start getting rusty. Anywhere where you have more bare metal will start, like surface finishes start getting dull because of the higher humidity. It starts to oxidize everything. So that's why I don't recommend people using water walls to cool down mining rigs, because yes, you're adding moisture, but you're adding a lot of direct moisture, which that kind of humidity is not good for electronics long term. It does survive, but to what extent and for how long is another story. But if you can sit there and control your humidity down and get that, 65% humidity and less, at least, if you can keep it under 65%, don't let it go up above that. I know, being out where you are in Hawaii, that has got to be an absolute nightmarish task. You are surrounded by all the moisture you can ever not want. So it's the same thing like people who live in Florida, their cars rust out because the salt water's in the air. You have the same issue out in Hawaii. The salt water is in the air, and the salt water will cause components to rot out without even, and so you've got a huge task to try to keep that air quality as good as possible out there. That is a Herculean task. On top of it is costing you an arm and a leg to be running that out there in an island state. I'm doing my best to get the facility up and going so that we can get your rigs on mainland out of harm's way of expensive power and all that salt water. Yeah, steel disintegrates in 5 years. Oh God! It's like my balance is a dynamic dance, as are all of yours. Yes, that is true. Oh, every time you say that, Mine and Hodl, my heart hurts for you, bro. 57 cents per kilowatt hour. Oh, God, you guys got freaking volcanic activity out there. You should have like you should have like free power, damn near. You have free energy underneath your feet. Oh, it blows my mind that the Hawaiian Islands have never come to grips with, and I understand the religious aspect out there that you have the native Hawaiians that look at the volcanoes as gods. I get it, but the gods want to provide power. You should let the gods provide power. I know, it's one of the highest power ratings in the world. I know. It is sickening. Like, unleash the volcanic gods and let there be light. Glorious light. But and you would think that something like that, renewable energy resources, that every green ESG climate control activist nutbag would be out there begging for that kind of power. Because otherwise, Hawaii burns fuel to make electricity. But we need to be green. But Hawaii has green energy on tap. Ugh. Fudweiser, you forgot the plus at the end. We got to have that plus for that extreme nutbag. Oh yeah. So, yeah, it's and these are yeah, the plus, yeah. It's always about the plus. It always was. Yeah, I mean, even at the facility, that's still something that I'm gonna we'll have to deal with. Is humidity control. So on bad humidity days, we're going to have to walk through the facility and make sure everything is properly grounded, racks grounded, so that we can ground ourselves to the racks before we touch the rigs. I would rather touch the racks than the rigs. Be able to put tethers right onto the racks, work on rigs, we're grounded out on the racks. Because be real, whatever the humidity is outside is going to be the humidity on the inside. Until you get onto the hot side of the mining facility, on the hot side, the humidity is going to be a lot less in there. I'm cool. I'm okay with that. We can just blow that outside, and we're good. But whatever the facility intake is, if it's raining outside, it's going to be high humidity. If it's been dry for 2 months, well, the humidity is going to be really low and it's going to be hot as balls in there. But it still will have, whatever the temperature is outside is going to be the temperature that it is on the inside. And I'm hoping that the further into the depths of the facility you go, the cooler the air temperature gets. Me and Mikkel have been tossing around on the front side of the facility, where it's a little smaller, got 1,100 square feet over there. We're thinking about putting in immersion tanks over there. And then all the way at the end, where all the GPUs are going to be, that we'll have just like a big room full of GPUs. And then the ASIC side won't be as big, but you're dealing with a whole lot more power in a smaller area. So it is very power dense, is the way that I would say it in the facility. Where GPUs, I've got more room allocated for GPUs because I know, just through experience on the room that it takes up. And that's why we're pushing for everything going into server racks, in the servers, so that we put them on the rack. We can stand them vertically in there, and then just pack everything in there. Put the fiber board, put some like thin insulation board in there, and then start directing airflow right through those cases. Shall be amazing. But yeah, I mean, even on a big scale, I still got to deal with all the humidity, because I'm going to be dealing with thousands and thousands of watts. I have about 1 megawatts worth of power on tap. I've just got to get all the infrastructure in to be able to use that. It's like, let me drop my grounding bod video in chat. DM me that in Discord if you want, and I'll drop that in there for you. How's that? Okay. Hey man, I always like good knowledge stuff, because like eventually when we get to that point, I'll be talking about this extensively and how we sat there and solved the issues at the facility for the same, like, we're going to be taking in basically the commercials, the industrial route to it. You know, you just ground racks, make sure outlets are grounded, make sure you got conduit from front to back, everything has proper grounding on there, all grounds lead back to the box. It's like, I will eventually go over that when we get to that point. We should get to that point relatively quickly. It's almost all set up. Basically, all I've got to do at this point is get grounding straps from the racks to the conduit, and then the conduits go back to the electric box. Electric box goes to ground. But yeah, if you wanted to drop that video to me, I'll drop that in here. That's not a problem. I love helping promote people spreading good knowledge. And if you guys are running newer, 30 series GPUs, or if you were one of the people that happened to grab a 40 series GPU, bam. Right, I think so. I think I did that right. Yeah. Oh, why is it like that? Hold on, guys. It's not on the right monitor. Properties. Why are you on that monitor? Hey, there we go. Bam. Bam. Here we go. I'm here. Yo. I don't know why I did all that. I know I knew my video was off, but I hate when OBS doesn't know where my monitor is that it's supposed to be pointed at here. That was awesome. But anyway, if you guys are running any of the newer hardware, I was holding off on grabbing new drivers because of the fact that some of the miners weren't playing well with the new driver sets. I have now updated because I was having some weird artifacting issues here and there that seem to be corrected with the new drivers. So awesome. There was some stuff that they were going over. Brief flickering upon waking from display sleep. I was having some of that issues. I was having issues with, like I said, and it was mostly happening while I was watching YouTube videos. You just see it kind of just do a weird little flash of like a square, and you could see through it, but it was like just like 2 or 3 frames where you'd see a black transparent square, and it was like in different spots each time, and it was just starting to happen a little bit more often. So I've updated it, and the if you're mining Flux, know that which miners was I using? So T-Rex will not play nice, and so an LOL miner did not have the latest driver update quite yet. I looked at G-Miner. G-Miner looked like it had 40 series support, which if it has 40 series support, it has the newest drivers in there. So you're able to update that to the newest drivers. If you're having any kind of weird gaming issues, I'm a gamer at the end of the day. Let's just be honest. I was having it was just weird little issues. My monitor is 165 hertz, and it was just like sometimes it would play fine, other times I'd have to like restart my monitor, and then it would kind of give me my refresh rate up to where it's supposed to be. But again, most of my issues was in YouTube. Since I've updated, it looks like the issues have gone away, which thank God for that one. Tired of having stupid little issues with this, but it looked like with G-Miner, I was able to sit there and get it up in hashing, mining out on Flux, and no issues. It saw the GPU, started mining out on it. I'm happy. Like I said, T-Rex I put the new drivers in. It did not want to play nice. I have looked at the GitHub repository on that. It does not look like they have updated that quite yet. That is fine, guys. That is 100% A-okay to me. If they don't update that right away, as long as I got something that I can utilize with the newer drivers, so that I can get a lot of the stupid little issues that I was having, a little flickering from the displays. It was my big one that was really just irritating me. And this driver update compatibility goes all the way back into the GeForce 700 series. So all of your Maxwell GPUs, it does support Maxwell. So if you have an older PC that you're using for I would say like a storage device, a online only device, something that's got low GPU necessity, maybe it's a storage machine, but definitely not a rendering machine. You don't have a good enough GPU in there to really get the performance kick from that. But if you were looking, I mean, what I like about that is that means that the old Maxwell series GPUs, any of them, are going to be supported on here, and you can continue to use an older GPU even for diagnostic purposes. If you wanted to eliminate a GPU issue out of there, especially if you're working on an AMD, until you're looking at the new AMDs that have the integrated graphics on there, you always needed a dummy graphics card so that you can get video output of some sort on an AMD motherboard. So nice to see that this was a a much needed fix for myself. I'm glad that there's at least one miner out there that I can utilize. So G miner is, as of right now, I'm sure the rest of them are going to catch up. It's just how quickly are they going to sit there and roll the updates out is going to be on them. But with the 4090s coming out, people are going to be asking more and more, hey, when, right? So we will see all the other miners kind of following suit. G miner usually is pretty quick about it. So I've switched over to G miner just today, working flawlessly. So thank God. I updated the driver a while back, and I think that's like the start of where I started seeing some of my issues. Is that I went forward with the drivers, and then I tried to roll them back, and it didn't like the roll back. I'd have to probably do like a GPU driver wipe on there and do it that way. I don't want to deal with that. I'll just keep pushing forward. Nothing's broken. Don't fix what ain't, you know, don't try to fix what ain't broke, right? So, and then of course, as much as I love talking shit about Nvidia here, Nvidia fucking doing some more fucking shady shit, because they know that they need to fucking push out the old hardware that they were trying to keep out of the miners' hands and trying to artificially inflate fucking GPU prices because they're anti-consumer. Now they are, with the 3060 Ti, they are offering GDDR6X memory modules, and the 3060 with 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. So now, instead of, you know, they're basically giving everything a nice bump up in performance, going, hey, please buy this stuff. We're going to be selling some new stuff very soon here. We need to get rid of all of this stuff first. Yep, you're gonna start seeing the pricing on this stuff also drop. Now, the 3060 Ti, it's kind of garbage because I bought the 3060 Ti non-6X memory in there. So I mean, pretty much everything is going to be the same. CUDA cores are the same because it's still on the same GA104 202, but it's the 202 and the 200, and the GA103 300 make up for the 3060 Ti GDDR6. So the 202 is the OG variation of it. Everything else was the LHRs that they have now gotten rid of all the LHR in the miner, right? Or in the drivers. But we're going from 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 to 6X, still on a 256-bit bus. Memory speed is different because you have faster memory style. So with the non-X, you have 14 gigabytes per second and 19 gigabytes per second on the X variation. Bandwidth is also different. We got 448 gigabytes per second bandwidth versus 608 gigabytes per second bandwidth. So with that being said, you know, you're kind of getting screwed. And then they're also having the 3060 8 gigabyte going to a 12 gigabyte. There you have a uptick in performance. CUDA cores stay the same. The boost clock stays the same. Memory goes from 8 gigabytes to 12 gigabytes. You go from 128-bit bus width to 192-bit bus width. Why that's not the standard to begin with is beyond me. The memory speed is the same on there, but the bandwidth of the cards are a little different, 240 versus 360. So you're basically getting a way better card now that you should have gotten from the very beginning. And this is just more reasons why Nvidia has just kind of become a greedy little corporation that needs to be put into their place. And I hope AMD and Intel can do that soon. It does kind of get to me that they are issuing out stuff like that, because for everybody who bought these cards early on, that's like a big middle finger to everybody who bought these cards already. Oh, now you're going to release for less money a better card. If that's not like the Apple technique, I don't know what is, right? This is such like Apple, an Apple move. It's why I'm anti-Apple, and NVIDIA is really pushing me over the edge of being anti-NVIDIA. Yes, I do have an NVIDIA GPU in my rig right now. But the way that they're going, that'll be the last time. So whenever I go to upgrade my shit again, it's going to be upgraded into either AMD or Intel. I guarantee you that at this point. I will not be going NVIDIA moving forward. I vote with my dollars, right? Now, if they come out with some spectacular GPU that is great for mining, will I sit there and say we can't buy that for the facility? No. I'm going to buy whatever it takes for the facility to stay profitable. But for as far as me on the personal level, I can sit there and go, yeah, I'm not going to support them on the personal level. Business-wise, at the end of the day, it's just business. Someone clip it. LOL. Too funny. Yeah, you guys can clip that all you want. Does not matter to me. That is something that will get me on. It's like I've always been an AMD fanboy. Now, I'm an AMD fanboy that for CPUs. I have been using the AMD CPU since, Bulldozer days, even a little bit before Bulldozer. So, I mean, I understand being an AMD fanboy. I love AMD CPUs. I love the idea that AMD is like, oh, this is what we recommend you to use. If you use it like this, you'll be good to go. But if you're an enthusiast, you can do X, Y, and Z, get all the performance out of there. Watch out, don't over voltage it. You may do some damage. You're good to go. So I happen to absolutely love AMD CPUs. They're now just kind of pushing me. AMD's come a long way with their GPUs. AMD's come a long way with the drivers that they have supporting their GPUs also. So with that being said, probably on my next, I will guarantee you my next GPU in this will be an AMD GPU, and I will have a pure AMD rig. Pure. Guarantee you. My next one. Unless Intel really steps up and makes a formidable GPU that makes me go, Then I might make the crossover and put an Intel GPU in here. Maybe. But they got to make something spectacular. What's going on, Tech Man? He's like, made it home. That's what's up. Nice. 1050 millivolt, 4 gigahertz, 5900X finally behaves. That's what's up. Yeah, the 5900X likes a little bit of power. Like, I am fortunate to have multiple AMD CPUs. Thank you. I had a safe and amazing trip. Glad to be home. Glad to be able to sprawl out in my own bed. Well, not really sprawling out. I have 2 cats and a wife that pin me in one spot. So I sleep on less bed at home, but the bed is way more comfortable because it's my bed. And then, of course, talking about that glorious AMD. Since we were on that AMD topic, guys, AMD is not using that ridiculous 12-volt high-power connector on the RDNA 3 GPUs. We are going to be sticking with 6-pin. Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? I'm so glad that we are not doing that. I mean, we've had this. We're melted GPUs coming right from the connector. So I'm so glad that they are not going with this ridiculous form factor on the connector. Please do not let this AMD, please do not go after these ridiculous fads of a connector that is not good enough. I'm just saying. I know, I wish they would just put it on the end of the card, or where people are going to be cable managing it. You know your community is going to cable manage. Make the card cable manageable. Stop being, it's like, I wish all the manufacturers would think about how people are going to cable manage this thing. They're especially if you're thinking that somebody's going to take a ruler and make a little block for it and go, oh, this is 32 centimeters. You can't start to bend for 32 centimeters, guys. Exactly 32. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. I'd be like, give me a normal connector, or I'm just going to go buy somebody else's stuff. NVIDIA is going to sit there and get crushed on these next generations, where they've been slowly losing market share to AMD. And now they're going to lose market share to AMD and Intel. Mark my words. They're going to be dethroned here. And when they get dethroned, I hope that all the game manufacturers start looking at development on other platforms and stop trying to cater towards NVIDIA, which has been making NVIDIA look like they've had this dominating market share because all the games are designed around NVIDIA GPUs. Like, I just wish all the power. Yeah, so far, the Intel A770 is jam up. Nice, nice. I know that the A770 is supposed to be a formidable card. Supposed to be. But can it play Crysis? Nice, nice, nice. Good to know. Yeah, I mean, eventually I will get I'm going to build a full Intel rig. I'm going to do an A770 rig. Mark my words, it's going to happen. You can't underclock. You can't underclock under 95 watts. Ooh. Well, it is what it is. And we know that. Yo, what up, Jason the Tiger Osborne? You missed everything. I think that with time, because like their overclocking tool sucks. I am not a fan of the Intel's overclocking tool. I hate how it overlays over your windows. It's like a fucking parasite on your system. Why I can't sit there and have it in a minimized little screen off to the side and still use my desktop is beyond me. The way that they're doing the system control on there, I'm not a fan of in any way, shape, or form. Intel needs to. I'm giving Intel a lot of credit by saying that they make a good product on this. They just need to do a lot of polishing on their software side. Yeah, and yeah, I think they're leaving a lot of performance on the table through Intel, but that's just my viewpoint on Intel. I'm trying my best not to dog on them. I want them to be in the game. I so want them in the game. It's unreal. They need some polishing. They're making good product. They just need polishing, and then they need to make that fucking GPU serviceable. Having that GPU with that many screws to get down to the cooler, just so that you can re-thermal paste it, do new thermal pads on there, you're talking about an hour-long process for that to do. Unacceptable in a scaled production. So if that's how it's going to be, I'm only going to do one GPU rig of this. If they make them where they're serviceable, I'll start building out some more. But yeah, until they make them serviceable, it's hard for me to really get behind them. It's just too much to really be pulling those things apart. You know, it's like if you watch Gamer's Nexus pull it apart, yeah, he pulled apart certain things a little bit further than I would have, but still, it was the fact of how many screws to get down to it. I used to bitch about the old blower cards on the 900 series and the 10 series, right? I was bitching about the blower series on there because of how much it took to get the coolers apart. It was ridiculous. Yeah, Intel made it worse. Yeah, exactly. Maybe if they didn't use crap thermal parts, we wouldn't have to pull it apart anytime soon. Yeah, that is true. That is true, my man. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy that AMD is at least not utilizing this burnt up connector. Now, here's my thought, right? So they've got those force sense wires, and basically what it's doing is it's seeing that there's power down those rails, right? This rail is on, and then you have this much power. If this rail is off and this rail is on, you have this much power. If both these rails are off, then you have an issue, right? Well, people have cut open these the little sheath that's around there to kind of help the wires from being pulled out, give it a little bit of strength right around the connector, which I'm fine with. Problem is that they've populated the pin still, and on the adapters that NVIDIA was sending out with their cards, only 2 of the wires for the sensing was being utilized out of 4, right? Even though it had 4 different plugins, it was only using 2 of the cables, right? They had terminated them, and they were just wrapped up underneath there. Now, hear me out. Those 2 wires touch together. It's going through a control board in the NVIDIA GPU for the sense control, right? That's got power in it. So we arc those 2 wires together because they're not like they're capped in any way, shape, or form. They're just loose wires in there. So if those 2 ends touch and it gets enough heat going through there, because if you look at how these connectors have burnt, they've burnt on the side with the sense wires. And the only thing that makes sense is either that person cranked on them, Jay's 2 cents did that, nasty bends on them and plugged them in, and it didn't do that. But what would do that is if you sat there and took those 2 loose wires, touched them together, and turned the card on. How long until the magic smoke got let out? That's hard to say. It's a rare case. I don't think that NVIDIA is going to see too many of these issues, but since it's happening, it's more than likely it's because of how they're terminating it. So for every one that it happens to, there's probably 10,000 that'll come out without an issue, potentially, right? It's just how many of those GPUs do you want to be replacing because of the connector, a known fault with the connector having extra wire in there that really shouldn't have been. Why they populated the pin in the first place is beyond me. They shouldn't have even populated the pin if they weren't even utilizing it. And on top of that, they're flowing more power through a smaller gauge pin than they were previously, which I think AMD and Intel is going to be smart enough to not utilize these whack-ass connectors, considering that the pinout and the wiring is a smaller gauge running more power. It blows my mind. But, it's not me, but I'm glad. It's like this is the stuff that I'm going to support is when a company goes, you know what, we're not going to meet that standard. It's not a good standard. There's probably something that works better. And that would be another case of NVIDIA trying to dictate to the market of what it wants the market to do, because it's the king. No, I think it's time for Intel the cheese must stand alone on its own sinking ship. They can have their magic smoke let out connectors that I don't want to utilize. Now they do make aftermarket ones that are better, and they hold up a whole lot better construction than that, and it plugs directly into your power supply, so better for cable management, all that good stuff. It's like FA, thumbs up on this, yeah. Igor found the issue with them? Really? I honestly think it's because the wire being arced inside the connector, plus the pinout structure just it's not gauged enough. I'm thinking that if you put these cards in the right situations, you're gonna be looking at this being a widespread issue. Especially if somebody cable manages it, it's gonna make it worse. The moment that somebody bends that cable over, oh, I will open that into another tab. Let's see here. What did he find? 16-pin power connectors on the 4090 and why the power connectors are melting. Igor states that the cause of the melting is due to NVIDIA's poorly built quadruple 8-pin to 16-pin power adapters, not the 16-pin connection standard itself. He says that the NVIDIA's adapter is badly engineered to the point where it can risk damaging the 16-pin connector. Igor discovered that the thick wires coming from all 4 of the 8-pin connectors are wired directly into 6 12-volt pins on the 16-pin adapters, with the rest being ground pins. That in itself is a huge concern, but he says that this was done via a very bad soldering job. The soldering is incredibly small, and Igor says based is a mere 0.2 millimeter of thin copper with a width of 2 millimeter per incoming wire. This means that NVIDIA's soldering contacts could be way too small to keep the 8-pin wires connected even under normal bends, which could lead to spotty connections between the wires. Yeah. So, yeah, it's either in the, yeah, oh my God, yeah. That makes absolute perfect sense. Enjoy the poop show. Yeah, and 90-degree aftermarket cable has been developed, but I still wouldn't utilize NVIDIA's 12-volt adapter from them. Grab cable mods. Do the cable mods one. Theirs is built a lot better. But yeah, wow. Because unlike Cable Mod did all their wiring connections further away from the pin, so it's not so much being sent all the way down to the connector like NVIDIA did. I don't know if if the 90-degree adapter is going to be the complete solution to that, more of just getting aftermarket cables. I tend to agree with Igor a lot of times when it comes to the engineering side of it. He is usually spot on. It could be between the soldering job at the connector plus the two wires not being snipped and possibly touching. So there's possibility of multiple things going wrong here. It is the perfect fucking storm. And I agree with Mikkel. Enjoy the shit show. Enjoy it, guys. Enjoy it. And for the last one, before we head up out of here, guys. Before we head up out of here. This last one. Bam. DeFi abandons Ponzi farms for real yield, guys. So, all you degens, I've been telling you guys this whole time, that these yield farms are nothing but Ponzi's. They are fucking scams. Anybody sitting there and getting into the yield farming was doing nothing but sitting there and watching other people get rich as you got taken for all of your money. I would say that 99% of people lost. For every one time you won, you lost out on other times. You cannot sit there and say that a 300% APY is sustainable. There is nowhere in the world of reality that anything over, let's say, 8% APY is feasible. And that's from the investor standpoint. 8% APY. If I'm going to be a back-end investor on a bank, I'm going to get between 6 to 8% returns on my investment, right? Where does yield farms ever have the ability to do this? They didn't. It took new people to come in to allow the old people to cash out. Without enough people coming in, this was the reason why Celsius crashed and burned. Because they were sitting here and playing in the casino gulag. Good luck on that one. As Celsius is fucking further crashing and burning, guys. But staying on this one real quick. So they are now basically trying to get into things that are producing value per se, with all the DeFi stuff. They are getting out of all of that. You know, it's like 20% yield. How is that possible? Marketing, spending, or digging into assets are the only way to explain those returns. This is the only definition of a Ponzi scheme. For investors, high yields indicate tremendous amount of risk. And that is, they put that in big, bold, orange lettering to make that one stand the hell out. What do they talk about? Real yields entering the chat. When they talk about real yields, they're trying to find things that are acting more like a bank. The DeFi structure itself is not isn't dead itself, right? But to actually get true yield through decentralized finance, it needs to be banked. You cannot get any of these things without being banked. You're going to find that anything that's attached to a decentralized finance that is not banked is going to fail. And the moment that it's banked, you cannot be decentralized because you have rules and regulations to follow. The moment you do that, but the protocol itself, how it operates, that itself can be still utilized. Just the whole DeFi aspect, not necessary. Like I was saying, I'm not saying that crypto or shitcoins aren't making good protocols. The protocols themselves are interesting. What they're doing with that interesting protocol is where the issue starts coming involved with. Whether it is about siphoning from its users, which majority of them, that's what it's going to do. But if you're trying to get outside of the banking system and you're thinking that you can decentralize it, and you're basically, as soon as you start putting in money, you are inviting criminals to come in and try to take a slice of that pie. Everybody's going to be magnetized right to anything that makes money. And if they can make money without having to do anything, aka yield farming, I can sit there and make a shitcoin, take your code, rename it inside the coding, so I don't have to do anything special, launch that motherfucker, and watch stupid people come flocking to it because I put 900% APY, where I'm going to give you 900% returns on a coin that's useless. I tried warning a bunch of people on it. I watched a bunch of people get involved with it. Yes, some made money. Majority of them lost their asses off on that. Yep. Kyle Rosa. We're going to have Jay the Weatherman on DCA Adventure coming up very soon, guys. Very, very soon. So, guys, whenever you're looking at things that have more than a 10% APY on it, or even if you're starting to hit 10% APY, I'd start questioning the validity of it. The higher the return, the bigger your risk. The more likely that you're going to lose your money. That's why getting involved with Bitcoin is the more obvious choice, because there is no gamification on there. It's an honest coin. That's pretty much how it works out. But you're going to have, things that are basically Celsius. They thought that they can sit there and play in this market. That's what fucked them. Is them sitting here playing in this shitcoin gulag like this, getting involved with it. Three Arrows Capital invested heavily into this stuff. They're fucking liquidated. The market itself fucking liquidated out. Fucking Celsius is done. Now Celsius is, since they've gone into bankruptcy, they're now fucking over another company that had nothing to deal with on their shitcoining side, which is Core Scientific, which they are a host mining. They do Bitcoin mining. And they were hosting fucking Celsius shit. And while Celsius, as soon as Celsius entered in the bankruptcy proceeding, and the judge gave them permission to continue to fucking mine, Celsius hasn't paid their bill. It's been costing Core Scientific $35,000 per month to run run Celsius's shit. $35,000 in electric bills. So I hope that Core Scientific basically just seizes their fucking shit and goes, yeah, no, you ain't getting your shit back until you pay your shit back. We're going to go ahead and start mining on our newfound equipment that we've been paying $35,000 per month since you started the bankruptcy. So unless you're going to sit there and give us the $35,000 per month that you owe on the electric bill, you can go kick rocks. That would be my thing on there, and how I would word it to them. But we'll have to see how Core Scientific works with this one, because they need to get back the money that they've been out for letting Celsius's scammy asses with Alex Mashinsky and his scammy ass wife fucking get away with some bullshit. Core Scientific, as soon as they saw them entering into bankruptcy, they should have shut down fucking Celsius's shit right then and there. Just done. You're entering in bankruptcy. If you don't pay your bills, rigs off immediately. It's kind of stupid that they let it go that far, but that's on them, of course, right? So it has been an hour and a half. Holy cow. I'm going to go ahead and call it here, guys. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. If you got any comments or questions, certainly ask them now. Otherwise, while you're thinking of anything, Smash that little like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Definitely drop those FAs in the Chizity chat, guys. Drop those FAs. Core stock down 90%. Oh, yeah. I know. I feel so bad for Core Scientific. I really do. Core Scientific are some pretty good people. It's bad that it's sad that Alex Mashinsky fucked them over that like this. It's very sad. Very sad days. So awesome guys. Definitely drop those FAs in the chat, guys, because you guys are rated F for fucking awesome. Yo! And with that being said, guys, definitely smash that little like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. If you are new to the community, links down below. Got a free link to the Discord. Be a part of the community, be a part of the chat, ask questions over in the Discord. Got a great group of people that are always there, willing to help all of you awesome people out. Oh, allergies. If you would like to sit there and get into the facility and you want that VIP access, check out the Patreon link down below. Join the pseudo hasher tier and you'll get the VIP access with some extra benefits. And if you just want to be able to support your favorite YouTuber here, I do have a tip tier on there too, guys. So if you like to do all that good stuff, I have all the links down below. And with that being said, it's like I read something about Stratum version 2, maybe tomorrow's topic. Yeah, I can certainly do that. I can go over that. The Stratum 2, I've been playing around with a little bit of that, playing around with some of that. Let me get a little bit more information on that, and I'll work that into some of tomorrow's topic, my man. Thank you for the suggestion. If you guys got any suggestions of topics that you're not quite understanding, and you'd like to hear my viewpoint on it, certainly always drop me comments, even down below. And end of one of my videos. Join the Discord. Tag me in a comment with your question in the general chat. And a lot of times a question you might have is a question many other people might have, and a question not asked will have an answer never given. So I would love to have all you guys sit there and ask me questions, because it does help me guide some of my video content, because if I get a couple of people that ask me something, I dedicate a whole video to it. That's just kind of how I've done it. I've got many videos where it was 3 or 4 people were asking me about a specific topic, and I just went all in on a video, explaining it, breaking it all down, deep diving on there. And I figure that really helps all of you guys out a lot too. Thank you, Mine and Hodl. You are awesome too, my man. You are awesome. And with that being said, guys, of course, peace out. And like always, stay savage. Yo. Oh.